everybody. Today, I'm going to take you guys on a little trip to a place called Pleasure Beach. Now, this place has a lot of history to it. Back in the early 1900s, there was a little peninsula, or island they call it, off of Bridgeport, Connecticut. You know, in its day, it was thriving with thousands and thousands of people that would flock to this area. There was vacation cottages, seasonal homes out here. There was a roller coaster, a full amusement park, a theater, you name it. Everything was out there. You could just picture in the 40s, 50s, 60s, thousands of people out here just enjoying themselves in the summertime, and just, yeah, it was a big destination back in the day. But unfortunately, you know, as time went on, numbers started to drop down a little bit. And then in the mid-90s, I'll explain more, but in the mid-90s, the one way to get out here was a bridge, and that ended up burning down, which ended up causing Pleasure Beach to eventually be completely abandoned and to just pretty much fall into disarray over the years. The cottages were all left to rot and be taken by the elements, and eventually became a victim of vandalism and arson. Everything else, the roller coaster burned down years ago. Everything was pretty much demolished at one point. Now, there's not much left here. I think the theater, the theater is still standing, but it's in pretty rough shape. There's still a restaurant area that's still here, but yeah, let's go for a walk. You know, I'll take you all around the island and just explore whatever's left. All right, let's go. All right, so to get out to Pleasure Beach, you're going to start off in a place called Long Beach in Stratford. And you basically just walk a little over a mile up the coast, and then eventually it turns into Bridgeport, and then you're in the Pleasure Beach area. So currently, Pleasure Beach is now a wildlife refuge. It's home to a lot of endangered birds that fly up this way to nest. And there's also a lot of plant species that are very rare to Connecticut that are here. So yeah, it's almost a good thing that they made it a protected area and that they're not going to build anything stupid out here now. All right, so now the first time I came out here about 5 years ago, I thought I was tripping out. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I saw these cactuses and I thought, what the fuck? Did someone plant these out here? Like, what's going on? So I did a little research, and I guess this is the only native cactus in Connecticut. I never knew there was a cactus in Connecticut. It's kind of blew my mind. But it's called the Eastern Prickly Pear Cactus. I think this is like the most northern part of their range. But they're pretty rare in Connecticut. They're up and down the coastline, but I haven't really seen any. I mean, I saw some at the Audubon in Milford, just a couple of them, but nothing like it is here. You know, when I came out here the first time, there was only a few, but every year I come down here, there's like so many more. It's almost all over this island, and you kind of have to watch your step. Again, this is why this is like a protected area. Now, if you're driving down I-95 in Connecticut through Bridgeport, if you look to the south over the Sound, you could see these two towers pretty clearly. This is WICC-AM. There are some sort of radio towers. I believe it's still active. I know the little house over here is still active and definitely not abandoned. I'll get into that when I get over there. But yeah, you can see this from pretty far away. So this is where you know that Pleasure Beach is. You could just see these towers and you know where it is. So once you get to this gate, then you know you are pretty much entering Pleasure Beach. So that radio station over there, I know back when I was in high school, a couple friends of mine, they used to come out here when the cottages were all still standing before everything got burned down. And they used to go in and explore and everything. And I think a couple of them thought that that was abandoned, and they ended up breaking a window on it. And then, I don't know, 10 minutes later, a boat pulls up with like Marine cops in it. And yeah, you know, I don't think it ended too well. That, and there's like a little restaurant area that was updated when they tried to reopen this beach a couple years ago. I think those are the only active buildings on this in this area. But so you just got to be careful. You know, there are cameras out here too. There's no trespassing anywhere here except for those buildings, obviously. But you still, you know, you can't come out here and just do stupid shit. You know, there's, like I said, there's cameras, there's sensors in those buildings. If you're coming out here to explore, you know, no one's gonna bother you out here, really. There's not many people around. But yeah, let's get in it. See, now we're starting to see remnants of the old Pleasure Beach. As you can see, this old retaining wall along the path here, you know, it's pretty much been destroyed over the years. But this is some of the ruins of this place. There's also some workers here actually about to climb this tower. So, yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I've never really seen anyone out here working. So, you know, it's definitely active. So, this is the old radio station that my friends ended up breaking into back in the day. As you can see, the gate's unlocked because there's workers here. But yeah, so this is pretty active. All right, so this is the remains of the old theater. Now, most of the roof is collapsed in, and as you can see, it's been vandalized over the years. I'm guessing that, you know, any day now they're gonna end up knocking this thing down, just like the rest of all the buildings that were out here. But this is the final one that is from the old period, really. So, as you can see, this is the remnants of the theater. There's not much left. It's mostly collapsed. The floor is given in. But you could just picture this place in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, just full of people, all dressed to their best, you know, coming to see a show. You know, the old lighting. There's probably concession stands, there was kids running around. You know, this place used to just be thriving back in the day. You know, it's pretty sad to see the state it's in now. You know, this will unfortunately never be rebuilt or done over. I mean, this, like I said, it's only a matter of time before the city of Bridgeport probably demolishes this whole place. You know, I could imagine what's asbestos and all the hazards and shit in here. It's just way too far gone, you know. But hey, this is what happens. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time exploring in here because I do hear voices outside. So I think there's other people walking around. Obviously, this place you're probably not supposed to come inside, but as you can see, there is somewhat of a beauty to it. And yeah, this is actually my first time coming inside here. I've always just looked in through the doorway, but you know, you never know who the hell is in here squatting or some shit. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here and explore the rest of the outdoors areas. It's tough to see from the ground level, but right next door to the theater is this huge circular area where I believe there was a massive merry-go-round over here. And I know there was like bumper cars and stuff. I mean, there's a couple other pads around here. But yeah, that's kind of all that's left. I mean, everything was demolished, unfortunately. So I believe this whole sunken area down here is the remains of the old roller rink that was here. Obviously, it's been overgrown over the years, but you can imagine back in the day, just people all in here just skating and having fun. And I would love to see this back in the day. But there are some pictures scattered around online that I'll try to add on if I can find some of this location. Yeah, it is May 1st. When I came out here, it was cloudy and kind of cool, but now it's actually getting pretty damn hot out. So take a little break, get this hoodie off, and we'll get back to it. All right, so I found some pretty new signs of no trespassing. And also, it looks like someone came out here with an angle grinder and cut down one of the big security cameras. So now I'm gonna walk over to where the bridge to get out to Pleasure Beach used to be. Now, when I first started coming out here, the remains of it were still there, the burnt kind of fucking wreckage of it. And I used to walk on it all the time. It was pretty cool. I think last year or the year before, the city of Bridgeport ended up tearing down the bridge and digging up the pylons and all that in order to, I believe, get bigger ships into some of the factories around here. Now, in, I believe it was 2015, 2016, Bridgeport did a massive, well, sort of massive kind of renovation on this area, and they tried to reopen Pleasure Beach. I'm not sure if this little bathroom / concession stand area was a part of that, but it obviously looks a lot newer than the other stuff that's still here. I think it was a pretty failed attempt to reopen Pleasure Beach because, you know, I've come here all throughout the summer. I live pretty close to here, so I walk out here pretty regularly. And I'd never really seen anyone out here, so I don't think it was what they thought it was going to be. Yeah, as you can see, this area is not really being taken care of. This is the main path out to where Bridgeport started doing water ferries to get out to Pleasure Beach. But as you can see, the tides come up, washed all this shit ashore, and no one's been taking care of it. But there is these pretty cool plaques that they put up with some old paintings of what it looked like back in the day. You know, this is obviously the amusement park, and this gives a little bit of the history of why it closed down in the 60s. This is actually right on the stage that I was just standing on, as you can see back in 63. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, if you see this new area, the fence right here, and where this path goes, this was the sole entrance to Pleasure Beach. There used to be a pretty big bridge right here that led across to Bridgeport, and this was the main entrance, and this eventually ended up being the downfall of Pleasure Beach when this bridge burned down back in 1996. Here we go. In 1996, on Father's Day in 1996, the bridge to Pleasure Beach caught fire. It destroyed the 69-year-old wooden bridge that linked Bridgeport shoreline to the island. When the bridge caught on fire, an estimated 200 people and several cars were stranded, including those who were seeing the show at the Polka Dot Playhouse Theater. Yeah, that was the downfall to this place. Alright, so this is the dock that leads out to the water taxis that were supposed to connect from Bridgeport to here, in a part of the program to reopen this beach. I've never seen one running. I mean, they had some weird hours. They would run on the weekends, but I really, like I said, I don't think too many people came out here. They didn't really market it too well, and I don't think they put too much money into this, and there weren't as many attractions as people would like to see to bring them out here. Well, I'm going to walk out to the end and show you the harbor. This is the large carousel that I believe was on that concrete slab right next to the theater. Alright, so this is Bridgeport Harbor. And this is where the water taxi will drop you off. I'm honestly not sure how much it runs, but these signs look pretty fresh. But as you can tell, no one's really taken care of this place in a while. As you can see, there's pretty cool history from way back in the day when the Chicago Cubs came here to play an exhibition game against the Bridgeport Orators. Yeah, so I guess a cigarette fucking caught everything on fire, and everyone just still hung out and watched the game as the fire burned. But back in 1907. So you can actually see the old remnants of where the baseball field was. I guess when the Cubs played and there was that big fire. So I'm guessing over here used to be where the bleachers were. And as you can see now, this is all new. This is from 2015 or whatever, when they reopened this area. Yeah, so as you can see, between 2009 and 2013, they demolished a bunch of the old abandoned buildings, the carousel, the bumper cars, all that. Really wish I came out here when I was in high school to actually explore when this stuff was still here. So this building was original, I believe. I think they just redid a bunch of it, but it used to be a restaurant area. And now this whole little pavilion area, the playground and all that is new since they reopened the beach. All right, so I was off by a year. 2014, Pleasure Beach reopened to the public. So even though it is technically reopened, there is still no trespassing signs. And that's a pretty new sign, so who knows what's going to become of this place. So I found out about all the trash left here. I guess people do come out here and clean up the beach now and then, which is really nice. And this is the designated spot to drop it all. And then I guess the city of Bridgeport comes out, who the fuck knows how often, and picks all this stuff up. But at least some people actually care about this place still. And as you can see, it has been updated. There's all LED lights. I don't know what the fuck that noise is back there. This is all new. I mean, you can hear an alarm going off inside. Last time I came here, one of these shutters was pried open. I think someone was in there fucking around. But yeah, there's obviously no police presence out here, so with the exception of the cameras and stuff, I don't know how fast it could get out here and stop anyone from vandalizing. Well, this is about it. Thank you for coming on this little journey out here to Pleasure Beach. You know, it is sad to see what it's become. You know, as you can see in the pictures and everything, it was just absolutely thriving back in the day. And it was a beautiful destination to come to, a little getaway, not too far from New York City. You know, I live in Stratford, so this would have been literally down the street for me, which would have been really nice. But, you know, it had a troubled past, and by the looks of what it is now, I'm pretty sure it's going to have a troubled future. Thanks for coming with me. Oh yeah, almost forgot to mention, this is the actual beach part of Pleasure Beach. It'd be pretty shitty if I didn't include this in a video on it, but yeah, still pretty beautiful. And untouched, because no one really walks out this far from Stratford. So, see you next time, guys. You know, it started out in the early oh my fucking God, it sucks so much.